Grills. It's time for Tallahassee GameDay on Warchant TV and Real Talk 93.3.
That pass is intercepted to the delight of all Seminole fans. The pick six.
Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang bring you the latest news, updates, and analysis around the FSU program ahead of today's kickoff on Bobby Bowden Field.
2nd and 3, patient and explosive, and a touchdown for the Noles.
Tallahassee GameDay is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Zaxby's, indescribably good. Now live from Florida's capital city, here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron.
And welcome in. Good morning, my fellow Noles. It is Tallahassee GameDay. Good to have you on board. I'm Jeff Cameron alongside Tom Lang. Florida State, UMass, welcome all for homecoming. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope everybody made it to town all right and feeling pretty good. Maybe you're out there tailgating already, as it is an early kickoff, a noon kickoff. It's been heady times, dare I say, the last few weeks as Florida State began to turn a corner, we think. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Today's game is largely about Florida State. I know that you hear that and you think, of course it is, Jeff. I mean, this is a Florida State show. This is a Florida State tailgate show, all that. No, what I'm talking about is a lot of times when we break down in the pregame show the opponent, you talk about aspects of what they do well, aspects that could give you trouble, what Florida State will have to do well in order to get a win. That doesn't feel like it's in question coming into this game. And I know people hear that and they say, you said that about Jacksonville State. I did, and I was wrong. And that was unfortunate and rather shocking. Jacksonville State would be favored to beat UMass. UMass is a team that when you watch them play, and Tom, I don't know, you probably did. I did go back and watch some. I've seen highlights from the UConn game that they did win. Not a lot of athleticism, not a lot of size, not a lot of depth, not a lot of talent. It's UMass, frankly, has been a team the last 3 years you could argue is the worst team in college football. And, you know, normally when you have a discussion about a bad team, you can't actually say or allege they're the worst team in college football. But the last few years, you could say that about UMass. So that's why I bring it back to us. I bring it back to how responsible are we? How well did we prepare? And how well do we go out and execute, take care of business, and get your starters off the field?
Yeah, that's what today's about. If it was an NFL game, I would say be professional out there today. Take care of business. Just be a pro's pro, get your job done, and go home. In college, it's be mature. Be mature enough to handle this moment because remember what happened. And this is the thing I think the coaches, you don't want to be able to pull this out of your pocket and say, right, remember Jacksonville State, guys. Like you don't want to have that as an example, as a cautionary tale. But that's the messaging I would think this week is, guys, you remember that game? And if I was a player, I'd say, do you remember that game, coach? Do you remember the game plan we had for it? Hopefully everybody in the organization from top on down is ready to get this thing out of the way. Go get the win. Do what you need to do, and then get ready for this 5-game quintet of games that can really change our fortune the way we look at the 2021 season. Get out of it healthy, and that's the key.
Pre-game, post-game, or no game at all, anytime is the right time for Zaxby's Platters. Feed your team of 12 to 14 with your choice of traditional or buffalo fingers or boneless or traditional wings, for that matter. If you're having trouble deciding, get the best of both worlds with the sampler platter. And don't forget, our world-famous sauce. Satisfy your chicken craving today with Zaxby's Platters. Order online or through the app. Tallahassee Zaxby's, a proud Seminole booster for over 15 years. Today's top story brought to you by Barano Heating and Air Conditioning, a longtime trusted partner of the Jeff Cameron Show, as well as Tallahassee GameDay. Turn to the experts at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning for all your cooling and heating needs this fall. Head to BaranoAC.com or call 850-580-4029. Yeah, so to me, the top story without question is that Florida State found an identity in the win over North Carolina. And they found a healthy Jordan Travis executing read option at a better and more efficient way or effort than he had at any point in his career. And it was fun to watch. And let's see if today is fun to watch. Should be. I don't think UMass presents a huge challenge in that regard. So you can kind of do what you want to do. I'd say this too. We talk about being business-like and a pro's pro or mature. That's true. But football is a game in which, and we talk about this a lot too, you work really hard to play it. You work really hard just to get to a Saturday. You guys know if you played high school football, you work real hard just to get to a Friday night. If NFL Sundays are sacred to those guys because they work really hard to get to that moment. go have fun today. Go have a lot of fun. Execute and have a good time. But for goodness sake, go out there and have some fun. You're going to get guys that will have opportunities that they may not have again the rest of the year. You're going to have opportunities to put points on the board and change your stat line. You're going to be able to do some things that maybe make you feel a little bit better. I use the analogy all the time about facing a bad pitcher if you're in the middle of a slump as a hitter. It doesn't really matter that pitcher's bad. If you go 4 for 4, you feel really good the next time you step in that batter's box in the next game against a much better pitcher. So go get some confidence. Continue to build in that direction. You've been able to put 2 wins together. You've played better as each quarter went by. Certainly played really well once the first quarter was gone in that North Carolina game. Add to that. 2 quarters becomes 3 quarters, becomes 4 quarters, becomes 8 quarters. Get into a mode where you're confident before you go play Clemson.
Yeah, what we saw to Jordan Travis up in Chapel Hill was the game had slowed down for him. Now, the question is, and Kenny Dillingham was right to point out, if you look at Jordan Travis' total snap count in games as a quarterback, if you look at his total starts as a quarterback at Florida State, he's still kind of a freshman, late first season player in terms of live experience. Well, what do you see out of guys who don't have a ton of live game experience and consistency?
Yeah.
What we want to see is the game continue to look the same for Jordan Travis today as it did against North Carolina. Now, the task should be easier given the opponent, but I don't care. I don't care. We're coming from a place where we weren't consistent in most positions against FCS team, low-level FBS teams, high level, anywhere in between.
Anybody who plays football.
Anybody at all who came here or we went to go play them, there was a lack of consistency. So build on that today, and if you do so, that means you're going to run up the score to such a place where you're going to see those younger players or those more inexperienced players lower on the depth chart. And they're going to come out and they're going to play with passion because, to your point, it's ready. It's time for them.
Oh, what an opportunity.
They want to have the fun because they haven't been on the field yet. And there are a couple of young players I'd like to see. We can get into that later in the show today. But I'm hoping that we put ourselves in position to see some of these pieces to the puzzle for the future get onto the field. That's what it used to be for Florida State on a day like this. Let's make it that way again just for one Saturday in October, can we?
Our thanks to you, Vishal Patel. Thank you so much for your contribution as we perform Tallahassee Game Day here for you. Good to be with you. We're happy to be here actually this morning. It's good to have football. I've got friends and family in town. And Tom, it's always special. We never want to overlook that we get an opportunity. I don't need to remind everybody. I'm not trying to be chiding. But just, listen, when a game's a foregone conclusion, you have sometimes the tendency to kind of just take for granted that you get to go to be at Doak Campbell Stadium on a beautiful day with friends, get to go into that stadium and watch your team play football. And today should be an easy, breezy, fun kind of day.
I can tell you that it's really cool to see, and it's starting to make me a little bit weepy inside. But my sister, brother-in-law, who met at Osceola Hall in the early 90s, and they've since had 3 beautiful children, my nieces and nephews. You remember they stopped by Remotes years ago.
Oh, yeah. We did a pregame
ago.
show over there on Langford Green. Yeah.
Little munchkins, right? They come by. They're like, oh, look at this set. This is so cool. Well, 2 of them just had their homecoming in high school.
Wow.
Right? And they're going to be looking at universities. Maybe FSU's on the list. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But it's just time passes. And I'm starting to learn that more as I'm in my mid-30s. But I'm seeing it through the kids. Because now it's not about, what are we going to do? Are we going to go to Chuck E. Cheese or something like that? Where are we taking them to dinner? Like, where are we going for a good dinner? It's amazing how that happens, but I'm excited to see them today. I've not yet, but they're in town.
Yeah, doing a little tailgating as soon as we get done with Tallahassee Game Day. Actually going over today, not as a media member at all, but as a fan, a ticket holder, sitting on the 50 with my wife and my kids. It's going to be a good time. And, my friends, this will be good. And listen, there's nothing to overlook when you talk about a 3-game win streak. I don't know that we thought we'd have a 3-game win streak at any point this year, given the way the year started. So take that in today and kind of sit back and enjoy that as well. And then know that, hey, there's other football to watch later today to get a gauge. What is that NC State team that's taking on Miami? I think they're a good football team. We'll see if they dismantle the Canes. We have a look around we can do on the show today too. But obviously you want to see Clemson Pitt. What's Clemson? I mean, is this a team that's going to continue to struggle to move the football at all? Do they lose that football game? Do they play well or not? Obviously, we do peek ahead when it's UMass week. Admittedly, we're talking about taking care of business, but you do peek ahead because Clemson's on the horizon.
Yeah, we want to take some notes because we might get good answers that we like, especially with Clemson. That game now, if you had put a percentage next to it, what's the likelihood Florida State beats Clemson? When we did
2%.
Right. Our first Tallahassee Game Day for Notre Dame. You assign it at that point. You're like, yeah, I don't know, 1%, 2%, 1.8%, something along those lines. And now what is it? 40, 45?
I don't
pending their performance today, it could move 10% either way. I'm
going to agree with that. I really want to see what we have today. So it'll be fun. But guys in the chat have pointed this out. You mentioned it. We used to do this all the time. Florida State did this on the regular, which is, you play teams that you thoroughly outmatch, and you didn't have to play UMass to do it. You could be an ACC team,
right? And most ACC teams.
But there was real joy in sitting back and watching the younger players, the guys that were going to be the future. And let's hope today is a big day for some names that we've seen glimpses of, but guys that need valuable starting time, guys that need reps, guys that need game action. Even though it's UMass, it does beat the hell out of going through situational stuff in practice. A game's a game.
Well, one other thing I'd add to today's top story, it's from 2 weeks ago, but it was one of the top stories. We caught the football. It wasn't just that, Jordan Travis looked better in the pocket and made a couple of impressive throws, but we caught the football in some key situations. Malik Mclean in one of the touchdowns, Pokey Wilson on another, where they were a little bit tougher, and, maybe they reviewed them and it was close, but we got the catches that we needed. Today is a day. The reason I bring that up is today is a day, if I'm in that receiving core, where our totals are putrid. Like, our leading receiver in terms of receptions is Pokey Wilson. It's like 14 or 15 catches for the year. We don't have a receiver that's over 200 yards for the season.
Crazy.
We're almost in November.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this opponent today, coming off of the positive momentum of a win in Chapel Hill, a game that you really controlled. And I'm saying today's my day. I'm going to try to get to 300 yards today. I'm not thinking about 200 yards. I'm trying to clear the 300-yard plateau. It's atrocious what we've seen production-wise from that particular position. Here's a chance today to get fat. And we'll see. Another conversation for later is how do the coaches get to that point?
Yeah, what's the choice here? The Noles have rushed for at least 200 yards in 5 of the 6 games this season. One of 11 teams with 5 200-yard rushing games this year. Last time FSU produced at least 5 200-yard rushing games in a 6-game span was 1995 when we did it in the first 6 games of the season. I remember that season well. I was at every one of those games. Yeah. So
that would have been Warwick Dunn's upperclassmen season.
It's crazy to think about. That's how long it's been since Florida State has accomplished that.
That seems crazy because, even though the offensive line was maligned under Jimbo, we did have a stable of backs for a few years there, multiple NFLers in the same backfield at the same time.
They were a little bit more balanced.
We were able to chuck the rock a little bit.
We were a little bit.
That is true.
May have had a guy under center who could throw it around a little bit. Maybe. Tallahassee Game Day continues in a moment.
I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up the fun when I want to. I call Tallahassee Car Care and they're fixing my car when I want to.
Hey, what are you doing? This is a Swain Pools and Spas commercial.
I'm turning it into a Tallahassee Car Care commercial.
But Swain Pools and Spas is a full-service shop offering sales, renovation, supplies, and more for years.
And Tallahassee Car Care is a full-service shop offering brake and tire service, batteries, oil changes, and more for years.
But people go to Swain Pools for quality and reliability. Nobody knows more about pools and spas, and Swain has new Caldera spas in stock right now.
And people go to Tallahassee Car Care for their 5-star service at great prices, with most maintenance done by their certified technicians while you wait.
You know what? Just look for the big Swain sign on West Tharp Street, because Swain Pools and Tallahassee Car Care are under the same roof. Online at SwainPools.com.
Online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
Swain Pools and Spas. I represent low-cost airlines, and we know a lot of you are not traveling right now, and we understand. However, if you do need to travel between now and the end of the year, now is a great time to lock in some of the lowest prices we've seen in a lifetime. Hey, in normal times, we can save you up to 75%, but now airlines are practically giving away seats. We have inside deals on over 500 airlines. Here are a few sample round-trip deals we found. Seattle to Vegas, $35. Chicago to Atlanta, $85. Los Angeles to Atlanta, $100. Of course, there are some limitations, but the airlines want your business right now. And cancellation and change fees are flexible. So fly somewhere this year, book now, save a ton, call now.
800-215-3613. 800-215-3613. 800-215-3613. That's 800-215-3613.
The best happy hour in Tallahassee just got happier. Wednesdays at Wahoo Seafood Grill, enjoy half-off appetizers from 3 to 7 p.m. Calamari, boom boom shrimp, gator tails, mud bug fries, and more. All half price from 3 to 7 p.m. every Wednesday. And if you're looking for a fresh lunch to break up the day, Wahoo serves up fresh fish tacos, sandwiches, and po' boys all week long for under $10. Visit Wahoo Seafood Grill today on North Monroe Street. Check out the full menu and order online at wahooseafoodgrill.com.
There are a lot of things you can share in this world, like pizza, a book, a cab ride, a toothbrush. Okay, maybe not that last one. But did you know you can also share the sunshine? By tagging your photos with the hashtag LoveFL, you can share some warm Sunshine State inspiration with all your friends. Or you can take the sharing a step further and invite them down for a visit to share some great Florida moments with you. Just make sure they bring their own toothbrushes. This message sponsored by Visit Florida, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Hi, this is Rowdy Lawson from Lawson & Lawson Electric. Let's talk about your 2021 hurricane preparedness plan. Are you prepared? Do you have a plan for when the power goes out? A Cummins home standby generator is more affordable than you think. At Lawson & Lawson Electric, we can help you with your home and your business. There's no job too big or too small. We stand by every job we do and consider it a privilege to be recognized as the best in Tallahassee. Give us a call at 562-4111 or online at LLelectrical.com.
Our friends at Triangle Sales bring you an opportunity to enjoy a one-of-a-kind experience presented by Bud Light. It's the Bud Light Sideline Experience Contest. If you're a Nolan Tallahassee, text Bud Light Fan, all one word, to 31996. That's Bud Light Fan to 31996. If you're the lucky winner, you score 2 sideline passes, hospitality passes, and fan gear for the FSU and Miami game on November 13th. That's Bud Light Fan, all one word, to 31996. Must be 21 or older to enter. Please enjoy Bud Light responsibly. A message from local Anheuser-Busch distributor, Triangle Sales.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Now here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Definitely curious to see. We talked about the methodology with which Florida State will operate today. Jashaun Corbin on the season averaging 7.4 yards per carry, has 4 touchdowns, nearly 100 yards per game on the ground. Trayshawn Ward, by the way, exactly 7.4 as well. Both running backs, top 2 on the team, averaging 7.4 yards per carry. His long on the year, of course, Trayshawn is 65. We've seen Corbin go 80-plus twice. So interesting that these two guys obviously getting it done. Wonder today, do we see a DJ Williams? Do we see more Lawrence Toafili? Give you a heads up on that. Lawrence Toafili's name has been mentioned several times this week in practice. So my guess is it sounds like they're trying to target him a little bit here in this game, get him some runs, and go easy on the legs of Trayshawn Ward and Jashaun Corbin. To what extent, I don't know. We're talking about percentages, and I'm curious because obviously Tom alluded to the fact that Florida State in the second half of the season, several games that let's just assume, and I know that's not a safe assumption, but let's assume that those teams play their best game against Florida State and are locked in and ready to play. If that's the case, you're going to play a bunch of physical games. It would be very physical against Clemson, against NC State, against Miami, against Florida, to some extent even Boston College. So if that's the case, then you're going to want guys who are loaded for bear in the second half of the season and ready to go, because you're going to have to fall back on Corbin and Ward an awful lot. So I bet we see a lot of Toafili today.
Yeah, it should also be noted, too, that Corbin got a little banged up in Chapel Hill. So if you're looking again at the bigger picture, and you can do what you're supposed to today, all of this supposes, everybody, for the 2 hours, that we're going to take care of business in a way we did not against Jacksonville State, which is to leave no doubt early-ish on in the game that, yeah, this one is decided. If you can get to that place and Jashaun Corbin is still mending some bumps and bruises from Chapel Hill, you get him off the field. And you got to get these other guys ready because you're going to need them week to week attrition. This is where you can hardly with a straight face project in the next season or two, not this one, but the next couple, 10 or 11 wins.
No.
Because we just don't have the depth to absorb the attrition that's going to come with a sequence of tough football games. And we've scheduled pretty well out of conference, pretty tough out of conference. I know on a day we talk about UMass, that sounds strange, but that's what it takes in order to get to double-digit wins is some semblance of depth. We don't have it. So anytime that you can reserve an extra hit to the shoulder pads or to the legs, you do so. And I'm talking about Jordan Travis as well. Jordan Travis came out of the game against North Carolina, according to the coaching staff, as healthy as he's come out of any football game that he's played here in Tallahassee. Well, let's set that bar even higher today. Let's get him out of the UMass
Even
game
healthier than he was
feeling
last
better
time.
than he was against North Carolina, because we're going to need him. You all know it. If he goes down and he's writhing in pain at any point over the next month and a half, that's not good news for the win-loss projections, because you're going to need him to be the focal point of the offense. This much we learned against North Carolina.
Yeah, they found something, and they want to ride that, I think. There's no doubt. To me, it is, you knock on wood, you can't gauge health. You don't know from week to week whether your team's going to be healthy or not. You can't go into a game worried about injuries. You just know that this team, unfortunately, if they suffer some, Tom's right, does not have the depth to deal with that. And, yeah, we'd have an adverse situation on our hands. But right now I'm in a good mood because they found something to operate under. They now know what they are. It's the read option game. It's what they do, and they're going to try to run the ball a lot. I wonder today, because the mistake against Jacksonville State, folks, wasn't just, the end of the game play, which was awful, and we're all going to remember it forever, and it'll be on a loop. And anytime you play somebody who's less than, people are going to harken back to that memory, and they're going to say, hey, hold on. And I get it. I mean, outliers happen. But the mistake in that game wasn't that you gave up the Hail Mary, although that was less than ideal. It was that you didn't take the game seriously. It was that you walked out there and treated the game like a scrimmage, that this was a convoluted, disjointed mess, that you had your quarterbacks in the backfield handing off to one another, and like you're threatening to hand the ball to McKenzie Milton. Like it was the dumbest thing ever. And so because you didn't take the game seriously as a coaching staff, your players didn't either. And they went through the motions because they picked up from you that this was a scrimmage. And the next thing you know, because you're not mature enough, and because you haven't won a lot of games, and because you don't handle adversity very well, and you don't have a lot of experience, and you don't have a lot of depth, the next thing you know, it's close in the fourth quarter, and you've got some guys looking around at each other to make a play. And that's not going to happen here. UMass is not even on the same playing field as Jacksonville State. But I do want to see, do you approach the game and have respect for the game? And is there a game plan that centers around what we do well, or are you developing another aspect of your offense? Right now, Mike Norvell and Kenny Dillingham aren't even using nothing close to half of their offensive packages. If you go back and watch Memphis, if you go back and look at those offenses and the diversity of those offenses and the things that they added to what we currently see at Florida State, we just see that read option stuff, right? Oh, it was varied. It was multiple. It was a lot of fun. They had so many elements that they could fall back on. Right now, Florida State doesn't have that. They just have really the read option game that Jordan Travis is running really well. So do they add to that today in the passing game? Or is it more of, let's continue to bolster our identity and rep what we do well?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question, because it does get to the heart of the Jacksonville State, the sin of that Saturday, which is you're working on things. But in this case, you look at the basic metrics, you look at the advanced metrics for UMass, they are equal opportunity deficient at stopping the run and stopping the pass.
Oh, they're terrible, Tom. That defense that you hit on the side of the ball, it's alarming how bad that defense is. You can kind of choose to what you want to do.
So that's the philosophical question is, do you send a message that opponent be damned, we're going to run what we do. We're going to do what we do. And if that means that Jordan takes a few extra hits, then so be it. Or do you say, you know what, bigger fish to fry. Let's make sure that we handle what we need to do today, but we're going to do so by throwing the football a little bit more. It gets interesting because if it doesn't work, let's say you try to pass it early on and it's clear that we're trying to pass the football.
Right.
And it looks like a mess. That's when people start to shuffle in their seats. Even if you win the game, you're like, man, have we learned? But I could also kind of understand the process.
I understand too. You'd like to add to what you do because there are going to be teams, Tom, and I've said this a lot. Yes, it's exciting that we found something that we can run, that we believe in, and that we can execute. And it sets everything else up. He doesn't sit in the pocket comfortably, go through progressions, and win you a game in the drop back passing game. That's not what he does. So you have to dial up the passing game via the run with, shot plays, in essence. We don't get a lot of intermediate passing game around here. A lot of what Jordan Travis does is get outside the tackles. They've dialed something up. There's the throwback. They do the quick game, but it's not a lot of first, second, third option. If you want to add to the game plan and add to what you can do, this is a time that you should be able to block it up in the drop back passing game. So ordinarily, you wouldn't take the time to practice that because you're going to get your kid killed. He's not comfortable doing it, first of all, and your offensive line can't block it up. Dare I say they can block this up today? There's nobody dynamic coming off the edges for UMass.
Well, and that's another thing maybe for offensive keys too, but the offensive line is about as healthy as it's been since Notre Dame, which is a great sign. If you look at the depth chart for this week, Robert Scott has moved back to left tackle, where Darius Washington did better than average. He was excellent against what we've seen the last 4 or 5 seasons of Florida State. All right, pretty good tackle play out of 76, but he moves back to right tackle, does Darius Washington. The one thing I'll say is I think even if you want to pass the ball more today, you have to come out and run first. Because everything about this offense generates looks down the field or looks based off of eye discipline and the things that you induce linebackers, safeties, and corners to do, which is keep their eyes in the backfield to try and cheat against the run. I don't think you can just come out with this offense the way that we've run it so far this year and the things that we haven't done well, and you go 4 or 5 wide, like from the jump.
Oh, no.
You've got to start with our usual personnel groupings, which is double tights or something in close, and then 2-back sets, whatever it is, and you generate your runs. Get your 6 and 8 yard chunks at a time. Maybe you break one. Maybe you do early. That'd be great. But you get those chunks so then you can get into the flow of the passing game. I don't think you just straight work on stuff today. We're like, all right, our 15 best passing plays on 3rd and obvious. Let's work on those today. I don't think we're going to see that.
I don't either. And the more we talk this through and kind of vet this, and I'm almost picturing the offensive staff and in the meeting thinking about the game plan for the week. You know, Tom, I don't think I would steer too far away from what we do well. I really just think I would lean in to that identity. Just lean more into what you do, and
maybe with more backs.
Yeah,
with more different backs.
But you just run your offense. You run what you figured out here that you can do, and even when you get Jordan out of the game, you do the same thing with Chuba. In fact, this ought to be a heavy Chuba game. Unfortunately for Tate, he has not performed well. I don't know that this is a game for him, very much for him, because he is a drop back passer, and we don't have 5 wide receivers to spread out and throw the ball around to. I mean, we have them, but they don't don't do anything. So it's sort of
it's been documented.
Yeah, I would tell you that I'd run Jordan. I'd take my chances. I mean, you gotta play football, man. I mean, this is the game.
That's the other thing. If we can, heaven forbid, put ourselves in a situation where you can bring second stringers out, you definitely want Chuba to be the next man up at quarterback.
Yeah, because he's the one who can run that system.
That's it. You want continuity in your system.
Yeah.
You want the guys that are going to be second stringers across the board to have exposure to the things that we did up at North Carolina. Is McKenzie Milton going to be able to run those principles?
Nope.
Even if he made the right read on the read option, where are you going? Where you going, man? And that's what I'd say is a defense. So we're just going to sit back and wait. Against Jordan, you've got to make a choice. And you better make a choice now. Because if it's the wrong one, it's a house call.
Yeah.
That's the danger. That's the pressure you feel as a defense or a defensive coordinator. Chuba can give you similar fears with his legs. He's not as fast of a breakaway athlete as Jordan Travis is, but he's much more capable than the other 2 quarterbacks on the roster, not named Jordan Travis.
Yeah, no, I think you just lean into what you run, and you do it with Jordan early on in the first quarter and a half. You get up big, ideally, if you can, and then you run that offense with Chuba, and you give him a lot of time, man. I dare say I'd give him a whole half of football if I could.
If you can,
yeah,
give him 3 quarters if you can.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah. I mean, it's a fine line between you need the rep, you need the games, you need to play. I mean, again, Jordan hasn't played that much quarterback, so
That's true.
It's kind of all right. Let's see. Do I go full bore here? The coaching staff will have a plan. That's the ideal, right? They'll have a plan. It'd be like, we get up 28, you get up 35, whatever the number they decide is. But yeah, you should see a lot of Chuba Purdy today. I look forward to it. Don't forget to stop by Zaxby's. If you're getting ready to tailgate, maybe you're on your way to the tailgate. You're thinking, what do we do for food? What do we need? Listen, swing by any of the Tallahassee Zaxby's. Delicious as always. And of course, they've been a supporter, a Seminole booster for 15 years. You can get these platters, huge platters. We got one in here in the studio right now. It makes me want to eat like 100 of these things. They smell that good. It's cruel what these guys do. They put this huge, delicious platter that's meant to feed 20 and right in front of me, and I just sit and nibble the whole pregame show.
And we've got sauces till March Madness, man. We've got enough sauces for all that, but they're delicious. I mean, I'm not a huge Zach sauce guy. I'm about to get, vegetables chucked at me from the crowd on the chat. But their barbecue's excellent. The torch sauce is really good. They've got like 94 different combinations you can get with the wings or the fingers. And that's what we do, the fingers platter here every Saturday. It's always delicious. And you're right. It is a choice that we put it on your side. So you have to smell it for 2 hours.
I like the smell, but it's cruel and unusual because I end up eating too many of them. They're that good. Tallahassee Game Day continues in a moment.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Mainly clear this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 82. Northerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear again tonight, lows around 59. Partly cloudy tomorrow, highs around 84. Daytime highs approaching 86 Monday with a chance for scattered rain showers. 82, mainly sunny skies and calm Tuesday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 58.
Here's an important COVID-19 announcement for businesses and schools. Has the COVID-19 pandemic stalled or disrupted your business or normal schedules? Has your revenue dropped drastically? Are your customers anxious about coming back in to shop? Well, we've got great news. Pulse Innovations has developed a thermal system with facial and temperature recognition that can end your troubles right now. Everyone knows that one of the fastest and most reliable ways to identify COVID and other viruses is to detect fever. Our new high-tech development can scan up to 20 people all at once from 10 feet away to provide an immediate reading of those that may have a temperature. The system can give your customers a peace of mind when coming into your business. Call us for free details and a free no-obligation demo. Call right now and get that peace of mind.
800-716-4665. 800-716-4665. 800-716-4665. That's 800-716-4665.
Did you know that in a single year, more than $1 trillion of Social Security benefits were paid out? If you're nearing retirement age and have questions about your Social Security, I can help. This is Craig Collins with Collins Income Tax Solutions. If you've been concerned about your Social Security benefits, give me a call for a free consultation to learn how we can help maximize your Social Security benefits. I'm online at collinsincometexsolutionsllc.com or give me a call directly at 850-391-7659.
Just when you thought the chicken sandwich war was over, it's coming back in a big way with Zaxby's new signature sandwich. It's a double hand-breaded filet, split-top bun, 3 zesty pickles, and if that wasn't enough, it's smothered in Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce. That's right, it's such a big deal, we made a totally new sauce to give it the kick it deserves. The other guys won't know what hit them. The new Zaxby's signature sandwich. Have you tried it yet?
We have Ben Shapiro.
The reason he's saying you're unsafe is because he wants the lockdowns. He wants the mandates. He wants those things so he can justify his failed economic policies, a turn away from your focus on Afghanistan, and so that he can justify you being angry not at him but at somebody else. Be mad at anybody, just not Joe Biden. This is the Biden doctrine in a nutshell. Be angry at everybody except for Joe Biden.
Ben Shapiro. Weekdays from 3 to 5 p.m. on Tallahassee's Real Talk station. Real Talk 93.3. Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Now here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Today's offensive keys to the game are brought to you by the Hobbit American Grill, celebrating over 40 years of serving good times to good people for great memories. Get your game day going, 2020 West Pensacola Street. For more locations, head to myhobbitonline.com. You know, we just got done documenting that we would just stay the course here and further embolden and engender this identity of running the ball, read option, dialing up some shot plays here and there. And I agree with that. But I had to look during the break because Tom talked about it this week, and we certainly all know, just off the top of our head, sort of a cursory glance at the games, that you don't see a lot of contributions from wide receivers. And while that's true, some of the numbers are staggering, Tom. I mean, might we get Kentron Poitier his second catch of the year? He has 1. He's played in 6 games.
That's unfortunate.
He has 1 catch.
And you know what? The bad thing about that is he's a good blocker and he cares and he's detailed.
Yeah.
I don't know that we dial up a lot for him, but every time I see 88, I'm like, look at that. Good block for 88 on the perimeter.
Tom, I know that we don't because he has 1
There we
catch
go.
for 5 yards.
That's right. 2nd and 5.
Thanks for the 5 yards on the season, Kentron. I mean, that is and I'm not ripping him. I'm just saying that's wow. Okay. All right. There are other receivers on this team where you look and you go, you have 7 catches this year. 7. I mean, Malik Mclean starts every week. He's got 8 catches. 8. This season total, 8.
I can't answer for it.
Less than 100 yards receiving on the year. I mean, we watched camp and saw Malik Mclean, and I could not have said to you, Tom, there's a good chance that 6-7 games into the season, my man's going to have fewer than 100 yards receiving.
What's his long? Does it have the long reception?
21.
Yeah, I think that was the underneath screen against Notre Dame.
Yes, that was.
Had to have been.
That went for 21?
I thought it went for more than that, but yeah.
Well, he has 8 catches for 73 yards. He has his first touchdown was scored against North Carolina. Obviously, we saw
As
that
a big play. As a big. Hey, well, come on, man.
It's a rollout comeback. I mean, he makes the catch. Yeah.
Given what we've watched the last couple of years,
well, Tom,
we can't laugh. No, we can't laugh at that. That's a significant play.
Given the stats, it's very significant. It's one of his 8 catches, and it was a touchdown. So by definition, I'm forced to agree with you there.
No rag on Malik Mclean. He's going to be a good player for us.
I like Malik Mclean. I'm not ragging on any of these guys. I'm ragging on our passing game. I'm ragging on the fact that we've got, I mean, damn it, man. Andrew Parchment comes over from Kansas who, look, there were word on the street was that he was wildly inconsistent, kind of difficult. We'll see. He's got some ability. Sometimes you'll have a game where you go, oh, okay, there it is. And then he disappears for, weeks on end. And that has been basically the case. But even Andrew Parchment, Tom, has 10 receptions total. 10. He, too, has, under 130 yards receiving this year.
It seemed like McKenzie liked him more, too. I mean, if you're looking for some patterns here, and it's tough to derive a pattern because we just play the quarterback shuffle every week. And sometimes within a game, we were just waiting for the hot hand to emerge. But when McKenzie was on the field, it seemed like Parchment would get the ball a little bit more. If you look at Pokey Wilson, for example, who I think is the leading receiver, at least in yardage for us, from the wide receiver group, not including tight ends.
That is correct.
His 3 touchdowns have all come from Jordan Travis and a couple of the shot plays. They look like they've got some chemistry. But the thing is, again, it's great that you have the chemistry. We had 11 completions against North Carolina. We threw the ball 13 times against North Carolina. That run-pass split looks like something out of Paul Johnson's playbook at Georgia Tech back in the day.
I'm fine with that. If it's what you do, it also protects your defense because you're on the field running clock. We don't want our defense getting exposed on the regular. They don't cover well on the back end. Linebackers can't cover you. So, probably don't want them out there much. But
wait, this got sobering.
It's just no. We're going to win the game big, and there'll be some numbers here that shift this game, and it'll be fun. And as much as I am saying that I would like to see us lean into our identity, I get it. We're not going to put up prolific passing numbers, but we can expand on these numbers. I mean, we can, even within the offense we're currently running, we can have guys who have more than 4 catches, 3 catches, 6 games into the season. We can get there. Yeah,
it starts with the offensive line, which is healthier, and I'll be interested to see. Listen, this is, again, a competition, a level of competition that you should dominate. But to see Robert Scott make the flip back to left tackle, let's see if he looks a little bit more spry and agile, firing off the ball to be able to protect the blind side. Dylan Gibbons has been very good of late. He won the ACC Blocker of the Week, Offensive Lineman.
He played a great game.
Week. Yes, he did.
He did, period. I'm not going to give you any caveats or anything to that. He just played a great game.
Yeah, and the things that we do with our offensive linemen, we like big offensive linemen, but we like fast offensive linemen.
Guys
athletic
that can pull.
guys that can pull, move, create angles. And Dylan Gibbons has molded himself into one of those guys.
That's the way to say it. Took 6 games, but he's here. He's arrived.
Again, trying to stay on the positive side of things. Maurice Smith is back in the fold, buddy. That's a big deal. We coming off the bye week. I think a lot of these guys are dealing with things that, they're just going to have to maintain and work with. They'll never be close to 90% or 100%. But we're getting to a place where these guys are as healthy as they possibly can be for a stretch in the season that we thought was all for naught. And now it's open for business. That's what gets exciting. As long as you get in and get at it today, we're relatively scot-free when it comes to bumps and bruises, then, yeah, man, let's roll that dice when we go up to Clemson. Let's go.
It's exciting that you have, for me anyhow, a team that I think is having fun playing football. We should probably, and now may not be over the top emotional today because it's UMass, but they looked like they were having a good time at North Carolina, not just because they were winning. Things worked true, but man, they were bought in, and that's why you get geared up for the second half of the season, knowing that they're locked in. They're still repping, working hard every day. They believe in each other. They believe in this coaching staff, and now all of a sudden they might have some opportunities. I mean, we'll see what the rest of the season is. Better teams on this side of it, but it won't be because they don't believe. It won't be because they're not focused. It won't be because I think they're all in, and watching somebody. Hey, look, when you lose a lot of games, you see a lot of sullen faces. You see a lot of dejection. You see a lot of frustration. So to see them have fun, that was good because that's infectious too.
Well, I think that's the thing where if you're positive around the tailgate lots this morning and in the stands and you're just feeling good about this team, it's because you did see from the brink of the Q word that we all don't like to see when it's on the field. And I remember the Clemson game a couple years ago, our head coach at the time called out players for quitting. And then he walked it back, which is ridiculous. But we were on the brink halftime against Louisville. Last time there was a Tallahassee game day was for the Louisville game, right? Or I guess it was Syracuse. But the point being that we thought in that moment, all right, so you're definitely making a change of defensive coordinator. These guys have shut down, at least on that side of the ball. Is Louisville going to win this game 56-10?
Right.
Like, where are we going here? Mm-hmm. And then they fought all the way back. They didn't win the game, but what you saw was a fight. And then we asked Monday through Friday the next week, can you parlay that momentum, especially on defense, into the Syracuse game? First half against Syracuse, say for about the last 5 minutes, yeah, you saw that continued fight and buy-in from the team. Parlay that win, which we tried to lose it, but we found a way, got over the hump.
Yeah.
Go on the road, you face North Carolina, and then you see a group interacting with Mike Norvell. Maybe Jarvis Brownlee was not supposed to go on IG Live, probably not, but you saw a group that was bought in. They were listening to the message from Mike Norvell after the game. That's why I'm smiling today. That's why I'm happy, is this team was on the brink of being failed by the coaches and shutting down another group that failed them. They all bought back in. They worked together, and they've got to a place now where you might not just salvage the season into something, you might salvage it into a bowl. That would be amazing after an 0-4 start.
It's funny. I feel like every time we start talking about that, it's surreal because at 0-4, the thought was maybe one win, maybe two wins, at best 3 or 4. Now all of a sudden you can say with a straight face, who knows? Maybe they fight hard to get to 5 wins. Maybe outside chance to get to 6 wins. That's a positive sign. You never know when the hard work and the sacrifice and the belief in the coaches, you never know when that's going to be married to where you get the result you need. We always talk about process, but you do need results. I mean, at some point you have to win some games, and we haven't won a lot of games around here. So when you saw that and it happened, that was a legitimate upset win. Florida State was a significant underdog in that game, and they win the game going away. That's a big win.
Well, and there's no doubt that it's a tall task. I think somebody at Crystal said it's a big ask to make a bowl. Oh, there's no doubt. I'm not saying that I expect us
I don't think
to go to
I don't
a bowl.
think that we're going to a bowl. I'll just say that. I don't think that Florida State's going to make a bowl. But the fact that we can have the conversation with a straight face.
Yeah, I think 4 or 5 wins somewhere in there, depending upon turnover luck or something like that. You might be going down to Florida for that week and saying, I don't know, can you shock the world and make a bowl this? I mean, if you get to that point, that is still a success from 0-4 to that particular place.
If you got 5 wins headed into the Florida game and you have beyond just the rivalry, you have a reason to play on that Saturday because there's something on the line besides pride. Oh, yeah, that'd be a big damn deal. That'd be huge.
I do think we're going to get there. I think at minimum,
wins, yeah.
At minimum, I think we're going to get there. If you split, we were talking about this yesterday. I don't know if it was you and Corey.
Miami, NC State.
Yeah. You guys were talking about that in the happy hour from Corner Pocket yesterday. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if we split those 2 games, take care of business today, and you got Miami, BC the next 2 weeks, and you're sitting at 4. It could happen.
Yeah, well, we're doing the what-if game a little too much here. You're right. It's fun to think about, and that's because they got the win against North Carolina. They allowed us to dream a little bit. Tallahassee Game Day continues in a moment.
Hey man, have you heard the sound? Pentalpha Jewelry's the best in town. The rings, diamonds, earrings, bracelets, and more. Pentalpha Jewelry Store.
I hate to even mention this, but the holidays are just around the corner. It's never too early to go shopping for that special someone at a very special place. The very special place I'm talking about is Pentalpha Jewelry on Appalachia Parkway, in the same place where they've always been. Go see our great friends at Pentalpha, and they will help guide you and find the perfect gift for that special someone in your life. Because remember, the holidays are just around the corner. So go see our great friends at Pentalpha Jewelry on Appalachia Parkway. Now sing along with me.
Pentalpha Jewelry, Pentalpha Jewelry, Pentalpha Jewelry, Pentalpha Jewelry, home of the real nice guys.
Sellers Tile does it better for business owners, contractors, designers, and homeowners. Better design ideas, better quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring, better mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions. And Sellers makes it easier with their amazing showroom and first-class professionals. Maybe it's time to get Sellers working for you on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com. For better style, quality, and design, go with Sellers in Tallahassee. Call 656-8453.
If you're an attorney who struggles with the balance of managing your practice and practicing law, consider Lexicon as your #1 pick. From client intake to billing and all that comes in between, Lexicon doesn't miss a thing. Our comprehensive solution combines best-in-class software and services to take care of your firm's most critical challenges, automating many of the tasks that take time out of your day. It's all about giving you more of your billable hours back. And who doesn't love more revenue? No more searching for practice management that works. Lexicon marks the spot. Visit lexiconservices.com to learn what Lexicon can do for you.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Lane's Medical Shop is proud to announce the opening of their newest location at 800 North Wiley Avenue in Donaldsonville. Lane's Medical Shop, Southwest Georgia's oldest running durable medical equipment provider, specializing in home medical equipment. They accept and file most insurances, including Medicare and United Healthcare and many more. Lane's Medical Shop, locations now in Colquitt and Donaldsonville. Stop by and see owner Blake Womble and staff, or call 758-9111 in Colquitt or 524-1292 in Donaldsonville.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Now here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Today's sub of the game, or which of the game, is served up by Which Superior Sandwiches. Did you know, Tallahassee, that on Wednesdays, the Wicked is just $5. That's right, 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5. Visit any of Which's 3 Tallahassee locations for a superior sandwich today. Sub of the game, who's your guy?
I think Chubba Purdy has to be that guy.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah. If he plays, that means good things. Well, short of an injury, knock on wood, right? If he plays, that means good things are happening, and we're in position to where you can rock and share this thing and then start to assess a little bit more of the depth chart. So if he plays, it's a good indicator across the board.
I think so, and I think he will, and I think it'll be for all the right reasons, and knock on wood, like you said, that get out of this thing really healthy. They got a chance to really rest up. They needed it. Oddly, we certainly had fun at the expense of the schedule when it came out, because we got the big bye before UMass instead of Clemson, and we were like, really? Got a bye before? But it turned out, according to Mike Norvell this week, and really you could just see this team was beat up for a while, especially on the offensive line. So they needed that rest. They needed that extra rest. And to get it right after you won the game against North Carolina, it allowed that win to kind of marinate. We got to lay in that and really enjoy that and feel good about ourselves both. And I'm talking about the players too, so it's not about us, although that was nice for mental health. It was nice for us to be able to sit around on a win for a couple of weeks. In addition, while we were busy winning and perhaps playing our best football game in the last 3 or 4 years, we were watching Miami and Florida lose. It was glorious. It was a lot of fun. It was just the best bye week ever. Just let's sit around and enjoy this.
I think the last 2 weeks in Tallahassee, gratuities were a little bit higher, maybe a couple percentage points. Handshakes and hugs were a little bit more sincere, right? And people were happy around here. It was nice. It was that felt good. And let's continue the good times. And then dare to dream about what we could do next week. But you've got to take care of the task at hand today. Can I make a sub or which of the game out of thin air without this? Is no practice knowledge, no nothing. When the second group comes in, because I'm positive today, I think that second group's going to come in. What if we saw Travis J come in at wide receiver with the second group? Wouldn't that be something?
Well, it would mean that they would have repped it at some point. He's not going to be on a whim.
Haven't seen that
at wide receiver. No. You and I have not seen him.
He's taken position drills as far back as camp with the receivers, but never anything like that I've seen in practice where they're,
I have not seen him. Now, I would say this too. Ira is primarily our source on the ground for these practices because of the time that they practice. He's usually our guy at Warchant that's there at every one. Now, we all take turns going to practice, but he's there at every single one.
I haven't had a turn in a while.
Well, the point would be, it's okay. We got people there, Tom.
I know.
But
in the interest of transparency.
Yeah. The point would be, though, that if Travis J had been taking reps at wide receiver, Ira would not tell you. And he might tell you and me, but he's not going to write that because that would be a thing that we don't report. But
I'm not trying to create wink, wink, nod out of thin air. I want to see it because that kick return against North Carolina was so easy breezy. It felt like we had the ball at the 27. And you're like, we got that at the 40? That didn't look difficult for him at all. And everything we do with our receivers looks very difficult.
Well, he's an athlete, man. And I've lobbied for this as well. If he's not going to help you as a defensive back, not consistently anyhow, get him over on the offensive side of the ball where you're lacking weaponry. Yes, I very much agree. And he is an athlete. I mean, he can really high point it. He's long. He would be a difficult. I mean, again, I'm not one of these guys who's so naive as to say, oh, just put that starting quarterback at tight end in the NFL. It'll work out just fine. Sure. I don't do that. And yet with Travis J and some guys in college, and he did play receiver in high school as well, you probably could do it. It wouldn't take much. I mean, he did play the position.
You've got to be able to climb the depth chart too. And I think we would agree that he could, right? That's the other thing.
That's not much of a challenge.
Like if you were trying to convert a defensive back from the 13 championship team to receiver and you're like, all right, and I think they're going to play this year. Really? So you're going to get past Kenny Shaw, third place in the depth chart? Because you ain't getting past Kelvin Benjamin and Rashad Green.
No.
So why are we doing this exercise right now?
Right.
You know, why for fourth receiver reps? Let's keep you a defensive back. In this case, there would be a need. And I believe he would be able to crack the lineup. But the thing is, here's why it's unfair, though, even though I'm the one who's asking for it.
Advocating.
Because of the injury issues that Travis J we haven't gotten a true eval on what he is at defensive back. He's been held back and hampered by some bangs and bruises. So if you don't get to see him a lot on the field and he doesn't get to get live in-game reps, then what can you say about the development and where he is in the development? It's tough. It's not a complete evaluation on defense. It's just we feel the urgency on offense to be a little bit more explosive and look like, I don't know, Florida State used to. Then, yeah, you want to see an athlete like that go get the football because he'll go get it. He'll take it from you.
You know, I'm thinking to myself, it's at this point, they would have, I think, at least discussed the idea of Travis J, wide receiver. And the reason that it wouldn't have happened yet is I think because he was dealing with nagging knee and ankle issues.
Right.
And then in addition, like you were talking about, and then in addition to that, you know, we have documented to the best we can that I think his off-field situation has been tough too. So, you know, that if you're transitioning and you're distracted, that's difficult too.
But you're hinting that it's not by his own, like he's not holding himself back.
I not that I'm aware of. I can't say that he is or he isn't, but not that I've been told. I just know that he has a situation that's tough, and so you know, that's true of a lot of kids, man. And you always got to keep that in mind when we watch these kids, and sometimes they don't play up to their ability, and you think, what's going on here? Sometimes it's not something as an unwillingness to dedicate themselves, right? It could just be something different. So I think that's the case with him. So at the end of the day, you got to get your best players on the field for as many of these snap counts as you can. And he's a guy just the second half of the season I'd like to see emerge in some way, even if it's at corner, even if he just stays at corner. I'd like to see that. He's a good player. I mean, he can be a good player.
Yeah, the other guy I'd like to see today that we liked in camp but is just not materialized in the rotation even despite injuries is Shaheen Brown. I'd like to see a little bit more Shaheen Brown today at safety or wherever they're going to line him up.
He was a Tasmanian devil in practice. He was everywhere. He wreaked havoc. He was incredible.
Now, Jamie Robinson has been pretty good as he moved over to safety, but with all the shuffling that was done in that secondary, I thought maybe he would crack the rotation, but we haven't seen that just yet. If you get into a position where he can go out into the field, and again, the competition, you could have 2 sacks if you're a backup defensive end today, and I'd still be like, well, that's great. That doesn't mean that you're going to take Jermaine Johnson's job next week at Clemson. But you just want to see signs that the future is going to be okay, that even though we're going to lose some guys, all right, I think that guy's going to be a solution for the 23 Noles or next year's Noles.
Yeah, nobody's taking Jermaine Johnson's job.
That's correct. Sure. You know what I'm saying? But Farmer comes in and he has 2.5 sacks. So you'd be like, good for him.
Yeah.
Not, wait a minute, why aren't we playing this guy? That today's not that day where you're trying to make those conclusions.
Yeah, man. We were talking about that last night when we went through the team and we were talking about what we lose and what we get back. And God, every time I think about losing Jermaine Johnson, it hurts my heart. He's just been such a wonderful addition to this team, both on and off the field. He's just been great.
And you brought this up yesterday when you were talking about the replacements for next year and the job of in the portal that we need to do.
Oh,
he will most certainly be the type that will stump for this program.
Yeah,
and Mike Norvell.
He's an advocate. Yeah,
he will go out and talk to that player on his own and say, "You need to go here. Here's why. Here's why it worked for me." It's not just, "Thanks, guys. I'm out of here. I'll never see you again." He is the type that will come back and invest in the program, even though he's only been here for 1 year. That's so cool. If we do flip this thing, he's got to be somebody that you get out of your seat for and you applaud when he comes back to campus and they put him on the big screen, because he's very important to
when they announced him for senior day. Yeah, I mean, you would have thought he'd been here for this whole time. The way we're going to stand up and applaud, like, you are the man.
Him and Keir, man,
Yeah.
they both have been excellent in trying to establish a culture.
Yeah, there's no doubt they have. They've been a lot of fun. Also, that was the witch of the game. So the sub of the game. Good times. I hope you're right, by the way. And just for those in the chat, I saw some of this. No, we're not saying you're going to see Travis Jay at wide receiver today.
There's no wink here.
It'd be cool, but we're not saying that. Hour number 2 of Tallahassee Game Day continues in a moment.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT. Gretna, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour at townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. The Texas law banning most abortions is on its way to the U.S. Supreme Court.
The nation's highest court has agreed to hear arguments in the case on the 1st of November. The focus will not be on the abortion ban, but whether the Justice Department can sue and obtain a court order that effectively prevents the law from being enforced.
That's White House correspondent Greg Cluxton reporting. Children-sized doses of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine appear safe and nearly 91% effective. Dr. Larry Kosielek talked about the new study yesterday from the FDA. He is the infectious disease specialist at Lurie Children's Hospital in Illinois.
Families that seek their first shot by mid-November, that those children will be considered fully vaccinated by the winter holidays.
American Express is reporting a stellar third quarter and a bright spot for the U.S. economy.
American Express saw its profits surge last quarter by 70% as Americans and companies rolled out their cards to start traveling, dining out, and entertaining as they had done before the pandemic. The New York-based company says it earned $100.83 billion last quarter, compared with a profit of $1.07 billion in the same period a year ago.
That report from correspondent John Cott, a winning session for the Dow on Friday. It was up 75 points. In response to some comments from President Biden on Taiwan, China says there's no room for compromise on the subject.
President Biden had commented that the U.S. will defend Taiwan if attacked by China. China's response was unwavering, as Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Weibin said no concessions will be given over the issue. He reasserted China's long-standing claim that the island is its territory. Wang went on to say that the Taiwan issue was an internal affair of China that allows no foreign intervention. I'm Karen Chamas.
More of these stories from townhall.com.
Attention Americans 65 and older. The Medicare annual enrollment period for 2022 has begun. This is the only time to change your Medicare Advantage plan for a whole year. And Smart Match Insurance is here to help. Do you currently have a copay? What about a high deductible? Do you pay extra for dental and vision? Are your out-of-pocket expenses just too high? If you answered yes to any of these, you should call Smart Match. Smart Match is like having a personal Medicare consultant who can help you find plans which include $0 copays, $0 deductibles, even $0 premiums, plus dental and vision coverage for no additional cost. Having the wrong Medicare plan can cost you thousands. Smart Match makes it easy to find the right one with their free, smart, and unbiased help. If you find a plan you like, they can even enroll you on the spot. The Medicare annual enrollment period for 2022 ends soon. The service is free with no obligation, so call Smart Match today. Call 800-871-1592. That's 800-871-1592. 800-871-1592.
What do you need tires on? Your car or truck, tractor or heavy equipment? At Nice Tire and Auto Service, we have tires for all of these needs. And we service your vehicle from air conditioning and computerized alignment to oil changes and everything else under the hood. Call Nice Tire and Auto today at 574-4100. That's 574-4100 for your scheduled maintenance. National accounts welcome at Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature Which, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
The following is a live production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network and Real Talk 93.3. Fire up your grills. It's time for Tallahassee Game Day on Warchant TV and Real Talk 93.3.
That pass is intercepted to the delight of all Seminole fans. The pick six.
Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang bring you the latest news, updates, and analysis around the FSU program ahead of today's kickoff on Bobby Bowden Field.
2nd and 3, patient and explosive, and a touchdown for the Noles.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Zaxby's, indescribably good. Now live from Florida's capital city, here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron.
Today's Sideline Report is brought to you by Bud Light. Tallahassee Noles, take note. This one's for you, announcing the Bud Light Sideline Experience Contest. If you're a Nole in Tallahassee, text Bud Light Fan to 31996. That's Bud Light Fan, all one word, to 31996. If you're the lucky winner, you score 2 sideline passes, hospitality passes, and fan gear for the FSU Miami game on November the 13th. Must be 21 years of age or older in order to enter. Let's go to it now. It's our own Ira Schfel, Warchant.com. Hello, Ira.
How you doing, Jeff? How's it going?
I'm great, buddy. Happy game day. You, of all of the Warchant staff members, are at the most practices, I would say most consistently. You're our rep every practice. How have they looked coming off the North Carolina game? I know you got to speak in generalities to some degree, but how has the team practiced, do you think, coming off that win, going through the bye week? I know Norvell complained a little bit about a lack of consistency or focus. What are your thoughts about what you've seen as we go into this game against UMass?
Man, I really do think they practice well. And Mike Norvell, a couple of days this past week has, come out and kind of challenge guys to be even better. But I think that's some more individual cases. That's, a pocket of, a couple guys here, one guy there, maybe not executing well, not being totally focused, not doing exactly what they're supposed to do. But overall, to me, it looks like a different football team this last week or two compared to the team earlier this season, especially after the losses earlier this season. Not just the energy, but, the focus, attention to detail, not having to do things, be corrected as much. I think it's been a really good positive couple of weeks. And, as all good coaches do, Mike Norvell's finding ways to push even further. But I think it's been a really good couple of weeks of practice. Yeah,
it's interesting to me, that North Carolina game, kind of eureka moment. We saw them and they played well and they really dominated that game after the first quarter. And I was interested to see, would they carry this over? And I was interested to see, would they be emboldened? It sounds like they are. It sounds like they believe again that they can go out and win football games. I am curious your thoughts, your opinions on what we see today. Obviously, Florida State heavily favored, should win this football game. That doesn't seem to be in question. But do we, if let's say that happens and Florida State gets out to a big lead early, is it Chubba Purdy the first off the bench?
It's a good question. I think it looks like it's still McKenzie Milton on the depth chart. I really think it's going to be depending on situations. I think the rest of the season is going to depend on situations. I don't know that McKenzie needs reps at this point, but I think in a game where you need somebody to come in and manage it and handle really a tough situation, I think McKenzie's probably the guy. But if the game's in hand, if Jordan's played well and they're up by 4 scores, I don't know. I think it's more beneficial for this team that Chubba Purdy gets reps than it does McKenzie. So that's still up in the air. They haven't given us any indication. But my guess is if the game's in hand, maybe you give McKenzie a series or 2. But I think it's more likely to give Chubba Purdy some work because they're encouraged by what they're seeing from him, but they have to see him do it in some games because he may get called upon later this season.
Yeah, we know with Jordan Travis's injury history that you're a play away, and knock on wood that doesn't happen. Jordan looked so comfortable, Ira, in that game against North Carolina. Best we've ever seen him look. I wondered today, too, when Tom and I talked in the first hour, do you lean into your identity, which is a lot of that read option stuff, which he executes exceptionally well? In turn, that opens up some shot plays and a little bit in the passing game. Or do you, even though we know it was a mistake to treat the Jacksonville State game like a glorified scrimmage, do you try to add elements in the passing game because you could probably block it up today? You could probably have a clean pocket. Or do you just kind of further embolden and ingrain that read option stuff and say, this is just who we are. If we're going to add a lot of passing elements to this playbook, we're going to have to do it in the offseason.
Yeah, if he asked me, I would encourage him to do the latter. Because I do think this is a team that they are more confident right now. They are more, they do believe more. They're feeling good about themselves. But man, I don't know how solid that is if you go out and start struggling for a quarter or 2 quarters, even against UMass. Those doubts start to creep in and everything else. I do whatever. Jordan Travis is in a great place right now. This last 2 weeks of practice, he's a different guy. I mean, he's going up and down the lines, encouraging teammates, being a leader, not just worrying about himself. You can just see the energy, the way he carries himself. I mean, it's his team now, and that's how he carries himself. And I think you want to do anything you can to kind of continue that confidence. So to me, it's do what Jordan Travis does well, build things around him, let him continue to feel good about himself going into next week. I don't think you need to worry about putting anything on film for Clemson. I think your best bet to have success there is to go in there feeling really, really good about yourself. And the way to do that is to keep doing what makes him confident.
You mentioned that this was the best couple of weeks of practice you've seen from this team, both from a confidence standpoint and obviously execution. Talk quickly about the offensive line. That bye week was critical. Are we a good full go here today with, at the very least, that starting five?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely the tackles. I mean, Robert Scott and Darius Washington have looked really good. Robert Scott looks like himself again, I think, and that's the point. I think Tom's made a couple of times about him getting to start at left tackle. And, he looks like himself again. I think Dylan Gibbons looks good. Maurice Smith is going to be the one I think is touch and go all season. But the fact that he played that last game every snap is encouraging. They are limiting him some at practice, but I think that's just precautionary. But, yeah, I think that offensive line's in good shape, and I think you'll see them at least the whole first half today.
Yeah, that team with that group intact can actually run the ball, I think, against most teams. The way the offense is called, the way it's set up, I really think they can. And you really can see an appreciable difference when those three guys that have all missed time, tackle, center, tackle, when you see those three guys able to play together, Florida State actually wins the line of scrimmage, moves people off the ball. And that's not something we've seen around here with any degree of consistency. So it's good news to hear those guys are healthy and ready to give it a go again this weekend. I know that we often use on Warchant.com the PFF numbers. Who else has played really well? And Tom and I talked about the first hour. Dylan Gibbons, it looks like he's emerging now as the guy. And the reason that's a big deal is because you'll have him next year as well.
Yeah, and that was, it was kind of a question mark. I mean, I think we thought that because he had been at Notre Dame, had been in that system, had played there, been in that, competing against those guys in that offensive line room for 3 or 4 years would do wonders for him. But, he really hadn't played a ton. So you didn't know. But I think what we're seeing now is now that he is playing more, he's getting more game reps and he's getting better and better. I mean, I think he's exceeded their expectations. I mean, in a lot of ways, but particularly on the field. I mean, he's athletic enough to pull. He's physical in the run game. Yeah, man, he's been a huge boost to them. And again, that, guard wasn't their biggest position of need. They have some guys that have played a lot of guard, but they haven't had a lot of guys that played guard at a high level, and he's playing at a pretty high level.
Shaheen Corbin banged up in the North Carolina game. What's his status for today? Is he good to go?
My guess is he'll play, but I think they're really limiting him because they feel so good about Trayshawn Ward and Lawrence Toafili. I think they want to get Lawrence Toafili some more touches. So my guess is they'll probably limit Jayshon a little bit, maybe give him some reps, but go to the other guys and get. And that is a position where I think you may be, because you've got Clemson up ahead. That's a position where you feel good about the other running backs. I would limit him a little bit. He's been limited in practice, so I wouldn't expect a big dose of Shaheen Corbin today. But it wouldn't surprise me if he played some.
Defensively, I guess just a quick overview as we get caught up on the relative health, and I know you can't get too specific, but I know that everybody seemed to check out. This was a really good week, and everybody was ready to go. So are we healthy on the defensive side as well?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I really think, and most importantly, I think, that defense front, which has been the anchor of this defense, has been really good and been consistent, and available. which has been big. But really, I think the big thing is the last few weeks now, this secondary, I think they've kind of zeroed in on a group of 5 starters that they feel good about. And so, and those guys all seem to be healthy. There's still, a couple of guys are still been nursing injuries, Brendan Gant, Renardo Green, they're still coming back from things. But I think right now they like that other 5. I think they really like Jamie Robinson at safety and Kevin Noles, the freshman at nickelback. And you want to see Jarian Jones put together he's had 2 pretty solid games against teams that didn't throw the ball well, but you want to see him put together a really, North Carolina throws the ball well, but they don't attack the corners very much. They're much more focused on the slot and in the middle of the field. So, another opportunity for him to show that this is who he is, because if Jarvis Brownlee is playing his level and if Jarian Jones continues to make that progress, I mean, that secondary, I think you feel a little bit better about it.
I always appreciate the insight, buddy. Be well and enjoy covering the game.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
All right, take care. That's Ira Schafel, warchant.com. That was the Sideline Report brought to you by Bud Light. Appreciate that. Always remind you to text 31996. You could be, you got to text Bud Light fan. Bud Light fan, all one word, to 31996 in order to have an opportunity to win a little sideline pass, hospitality, all that good stuff.
For that Miami game, man. And that's another one. It looks like the bookends to this schedule this season at home are going to be raucous atmospheres, because we've got expectations now about getting off the schneid against our rival. Of course, today is the first matter at hand, but if you're talking about sideline passes for any game this season, it's not the Notre Dame one, then certainly you would want them for Miami. So that's why you should text that number.
Pre-game, post-game, or no game at all, anytime is the right time for Zaxby's Platters. Feed your team of 12 to 14 with your choice of traditional or buffalo, fingers or boneless or traditional wings. If you're having trouble deciding, get the best of both worlds with the sampler platter. That's what we have here in the studio. Don't forget that world-famous sauce as well. Satisfy your chicken craving today with Zaxby's Platters. Order online or through the app. Tallahassee Zaxby's, a proud Seminole booster for over 15 years. More Tallahassee Game Day in a moment.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186. Let's take a minute to imagine all the things you can accomplish with help from Southeast Portable Buildings. Are you a hoarder? Hoard some more. Get a storage shed. Mother-in-law moving in with you? Put her in a shed out back. I'm kidding. Still working on that engine that you're going to finish from last summer? Move it out to a new workspace with Southeast Portable Buildings. From she sheds and man caves to repair shops and trophy rooms, the possibilities are only limited to your imagination. Visit Southeast Portable Buildings today.
1/3 of Americans over the age of 55 have less than $25,000 in savings heading into retirement, and 34% have no savings at all. Maximizing your Social Security benefits is going to be a significant part of planning for the road ahead. If this sounds like you, or maybe even a loved one, give me a call. I can help. I'm Craig Collins with Collins Income Tax Solutions, and I'm offering free consultations to anyone looking to learn how to maximize their Social Security benefits. You can find me online at collinsincometexsolutionsllc.com.
God gave us two ends, one to think with and one to sit on. Success in life depends on which one you use. Heads, you win. Tails, you lose. Hi, I'm Rick Hughes, host of The Flatline. Heard every Sunday morning here at 7:30 a.m. on Real Talk 93.3 Tallahassee Real Talk Station. Come join me, 30 minutes of motivation, inspiration, and some education as I seek to reveal God's plan by teaching 10 unique problem-solving devices. Every Sunday morning, 7:30 a.m., 93.3 Real Talk Tallahassee.
I represent low-cost airlines, and we know a lot of you are not traveling right now, and we understand. However, if you do need to travel between now and the end of the year, now is a great time to lock in some of the lowest prices we've seen in a lifetime. Hey, in normal times, we can save you up to 75%, but now airlines are practically giving away seats. We have inside deals on over 500 airlines. Here are a few sample round-trip deals we found. Seattle to Vegas, $35. Chicago to Atlanta, $85. $85. Los Angeles to Atlanta, $100. Of course, there are some limitations, but the airlines want your business right now. And cancellation and change fees are flexible. So fly somewhere this year, book now, save a ton, call now.
800-215-3613. 800-215-3613. 800-215-3613. That's 800-215-3613.
This is Kyle, Service Manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Lane's Medical.
Imagine a salad made with only the freshest vegetables, with grilled or hand-breaded chicken, and topped with Southwest Ranch dressing. Big enough to fill you up without weighing you down. Made to order, when you order, in that order. Try our new Southwest salad with fire-roasted corn, tomatoes, and crispy tortilla strips. Just one of our made-to-order salads, only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Now here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
It's a wide open ACC race, by the way, for the first time in ages. I mean, you can't say that any of the last 6 years or so. It's wide open. Maybe going back before that. And so you look at that, Clemson at number 23 Pitt, 3:30 today on ESPN. Number 18 NC State at Miami tonight at 7:30 p.m. ESPN2. I even think that to some degree, it's not a game I'm going to be locked in on, but Georgia Tech, Virginia should be a wide open affair on the ACC network tonight at 7:30. So if that's your cup of tea, but
it is not, sir.
No, not mine either. I'll probably find a different game, but it's wide open. When you look at the battles here, this is kind of fun. I mean, you got an interesting ACC. If you're going to go by the FPI, ESPN's FPI, you can look at a lot of numbers. You can look at SP plus, all that stuff. You have 5 teams in this conference with a chance to win it as we sit here at this point in the season. That's pretty crazy. Normally, you don't have anything close to that.
Here we go, man. Going to run the table. Let's go. Let's make it interesting for the Atlantic.
We're not on that list, at least not according to FPI. So
you'd actually need a Miami win tonight to spell NC State a little bit, and then you'd need Wake Forest to fall, to pieces. But yeah, the Atlantic in general is pulling a Coastal this year. We lament the Coastal every year. It's like, who the hell wants to win that thing?
Mm-hmm.
But it does look like the clear front runners are Pitt, and then on the other side, it's Wake Forest and NC State, and that's going to be the battle.
Yeah, NC State, Clemson, Wake Forest, all right there. And then you got the outside chance still in this conference of if Virginia were to run the table, they're in it too. So
Wake also going non-conference today as they play Army.
Look forward to that game.
An interesting
actually.
noon
it's
kick.
Kind of it's amazing when you become a football fan what you can sit and watch and find interesting. Because somehow Wake Army sounds really interesting to me, and most people be like, what? You want to watch Wake Army?
Well, there's something you love, black and gold. That's what that is.
I think it may
There's
be
a whole lot of black and gold on the field today.
Yeah, I think that's true. I look at Clemson's defense in this matchup today, and I'm thinking about the fact that they're third S&P plus. They've been incredible defensively, but it gets overshadowed by just how impotent their offense has been. And you're going against an offensive, dare I say, juggernaut in Pitt today. They're averaging over 48 points a game.
What I found interesting, though, about last Friday's game against Syracuse, everybody watched that game.
Yeah.
Everybody in the ACC was like, ooh,
What was
we're
this?
going to kick them while they're down.
Yeah.
Was that Syracuse was able to devise up runs for bigger chunks against Clemson than they did against Florida State. That sounds strange because you would say 14 points of output versus 30. How couldn't they have done more? Now Garrett Schrader ran the ball on us, but Sean Tucker didn't until the second half, as we had worn down. But if you're talking about between the 20s, Syracuse is able to devise a thing or two against that Clemson front seven, even with the linebackers back for them, including Skalski. I found that interesting and took note because what are we going to try and do?
I was just about to say, that makes me smile a little
right.
bit. Like, okay.
Now, Garrett
Schrader, there's a chance.
Garrett Schrader could stand in that studio over there and we'd say, just hit that far wall with all the flags on it.
He'd struggle with
and
that.
he'd hit the logo behind you.
Yeah.
He'd hit the radio microphone behind you.
Not a real accurate pass.
That's what held them back in that particular situation. But okay, I've seen now if Pitt continues that trend today and you see a couple of big gainers on the ground, not with Pickett's arm, all right, buddy, this could get fun next week. But first things first, take care of UMass, and then we can watch that game at 3:30.
Pretty crazy. You mentioned the Demon Deacons are 6-0 for the second time in program history, the first time since 1944, Tom, that they've been 6-0. Wake Forest out of conference against Army. That's also at noon. They lead the league and rank 6th in the country in turnover margin, by the way.
Of
Wake
course
Forest.
they do.
Of course they do, right? They've done.
The interesting thing, and listen, I'll be in the minority on this, but I thought the Wake game, even with the injuries to the offensive line, was winnable for us. And you could point to the 2 critical calls that were missed by the officials as maybe a turning point. I just say you should be able to run the ball. And then what was interesting about that game is Wake typically is penalized 3 or 4 times, and they win the turnover margin by a ton. And we did turn the ball over 6 times, so that checked the box there for Wake. But that was not the most disciplined Wake Forest team that I've seen, not by a long shot.
And
they made a lot of mistakes.
And yet here they sit,
and
buddy.
yet here they are.
Yeah. No, it's a weird year. And it's not just this conference. I mean, you look around, it's the Big Ten, got shook up pretty early on. It looks like it's coming back into at the end of the day, we think Ohio State's still going to win that conference.
And that, well, that Ohio State, Michigan triumvirate is going to be very interesting down the stretch because none of them have played each other. I believe next week is Michigan State.
Look forward to it, actually. Yeah, should be a fun game. Oklahoma State, Iowa State today out of the Big 12 as we just kind of do a quick survey around the country. It's not the best slate, as you can hear. It's a reach today to try to find a whole bunch of interesting games. But, you like defensive football and you like 2 teams that can run the ball. Jaylen Warren is fun to watch run the ball. He's been great. He's averaging 32 carries a game, 165 yards. I mean, he's a legit back. Oklahoma State, Iowa State will be physical. If you like that kind of, it's 3:30 today. Get out of Doak after a big win for the Noles and settle in somewhere to watch a little Oklahoma State, Iowa State.
Man, I'll tell you, the game that I'm circling today is the ACC. It's NC State, Miami, because you're scouting for the future.
Well,
Clemson,
I'm also scouting an ass kicking.
Clemson and Pitt after that. I hope so. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
We both have interest in the same way in that particular result. Not just because we don't like the Miami Hurricanes, but then I think at this point in the season, after what we've seen through almost 2 full months of college football, it's just have the remote ready because something weird's going to happen. So be on alert. Maybe you got to go find CBS Sports Network. Maybe you got to go find FS1. Whatever channel it is, something weird is going to happen today. Something unexpected because that has been the norm this season. And that's why this season has been so much fun. It's chaos. If you're a fan of chaos when we're not involved in the college football playoff discussion, you're getting everything you want. You could have Oklahoma State and Cincinnati in the college football playoff this season. Oof. How bizarre would that be?
Yeah, it'd be shocking. It would be shocking. If Oklahoma State were to get there, that would be stunning to me. I watch them play their offense. They run the ball. They play very good defense. But, man, there is a whole lot lacking in that group. If they find their way to navigate the rest of this.
Couple of batted balls at the line of scrimmage in Bedlam. They win the rematch. Like, let's say Michigan State wins the big games they need to. So you could have Oklahoma State, Michigan State, Cincinnati, and Georgia in the playoff. I don't know. That's not out of the realm of possibility. That's where we are this season.
Yeah, I'll be curious. It's a weird year. I'm actually interested in UCLA, Oregon. I said that too. If we get out to the Pac-12, a couple games there. I also think Notre Dame is going to beat Southern Cal today pretty convincingly. Not a great Notre Dame team. I've thought that before, but that Southern Cal team's a mess. When you watch them, it's so weird. I wonder if people do that with us. Because, you see Southern Cal, you see the helmet.
Oh, definitely.
You see the uniform. Well, what I mean by that is just, even though intellectually, you see the record, it's not good. But then if you turn the game on and you see the uniform, it's hard to reconcile that. You're just like, God, why are you this bad? I bet people look at FSU's helmets and go, what happened to that program?
Yeah, there's going to be a trailing effect to that too, where it's, a year or 2 from now, we creep back up into the top 25 and we're 17 or 18th in the country. And you hear a bunch of national pundits saying, I don't buy it. Florida State hasn't been good in a long time. Like, there's going to be that lag effect. I just want to get to that place where people discount us because we haven't been any good for years.
Well, yeah, I'd like them to have the argument. That'd be great. You guys bicker amongst each other. Well, also the national media, and it's not their fault, are always behind the people that cover the teams locally. So the second that we see some semblance of evidence or structure or something of a step forward for this program, may very well continue to be this week into next and into next. We'll see. We're going to identify it and ring the bell for our group, right? Because we know what that looks like. Oh, the steps are being taken. We're getting there. But that will be, you talk about a trailing effect. They won't I mean, they're not. Florida State's unranked, and they got 2 wins. No,
Right.
Nobody's paying.
Yeah, exactly. We're still 2-4.
Yeah.
We sound awfully positive for a 2-4 football program, but that's what a couple wins in a row and a bye week will do for you, especially when everybody else on the slate the rest of the season looks mortal. What a difference.
Do you have a sense, final thing, and we'll move on and get back to our game specifically. You have a sense at all for that Boston College at Louisville game?
That number seems awfully low because it's been bet closer to a push.
Yeah.
It was at 6.5. I think it was down to 5.5.
It's weird.
I don't know if are there COVID concerns.
I'm not touching the game. I mean, those two teams.
It's in Louisville, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'd run for the hills. I wouldn't want to watch that game per se. It's not a game that I get a good sense of.
I got a feeling, man, just looking at Boston College, like you see the win total. I'm looking at the teams they played.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're very good.
Why was America shocked why did the Bear pick Boston College? That keeps bothering me.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Do people just not have NC State and Boston College figured out at this point?
NC State threw people a curveball when they fooled around and looked awful against Mississippi State.
Yep. That's the last time people watched them. That's probably what it is.
That loss caused people to say, that's it, I'm off of NC State. And it turns out that game to me was the NC State outlier. I thought they'd be a good team coming into the year. They've got a lot of veteran leadership. They're big up front on the offensive and defensive lines. They got a bruising back, a talented quarterback. I won't say they're well coached. We know that situation.
Right.
But
he can rise up and beat himself.
Yes, he can. But they have, the Mississippi State game, but they have weapons. They have ability, and they have depth. I think they're a good team. I think they're probably the best team in the ACC.
There's a simplicity to what they do.
Oh,
too.
yeah, it's straight ahead. Yeah, it is straight ahead. Tallahassee Game Day continues in a moment.
Imagine a salad made with only the freshest vegetables, with grilled or hand-breaded chicken, and topped with Southwest Ranch dressing. Big enough to fill you up without weighing you down. Made to order, when you order, in that order. Try our new Southwest salad with fire-roasted corn, tomatoes, and crispy tortilla strips. Just one of our made-to-order salads. Only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
OnJohns.com. Right now, 61.
Your body is a masterpiece designed to heal itself from within. Learn how to maximize your health by tuning in to Phenomenal Health with me, Dr. Ryan Finn. Saturdays at 2:30. Experience true health today and call Finn Chiropractic at 386-7700.
Hi, this is the legendary Mary Bush Smith inviting you to tune in every Sunday morning from 8 to 9 o'clock a.m. for Sunday Morning Gospel. We'll feature our sponsor, TLC Chiropractic, Dr. Gregory Eisman, 850-222-5700.
If you're an attorney who struggles with the balance of managing your practice and practicing law, consider Lexicon as your #1 pick. From client intake to billing and all that comes in between, Lexicon doesn't miss a thing. Our comprehensive solution combines best-in-class software and services to take care of your firm's most critical challenges, automating many of the tasks that take time out of your day. It's all about giving you more of your billable hours back. And who doesn't love more revenue? No more searching for practice management that works. Lexicon marks the spot. Visit lexiconservices.com to learn what Lexicon can do for you.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Attention! It's enough. This has gone on way too long. If we're going to win this thing, we've got to go big.
Introducing Zaxby's new signature sandwich with a double hand-breaded filet, split top bun, and Zax sauce, our new spicy Zax sauce. Only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Charlie Crist, he's running for governor. To mention the governor, I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. And we see it in presidential. We see it all the time. It's the new norm. We even saw it in local. That it should be. It's like, hey, I'm running for this local seat.
Do you understand? I heard a statistic that like half of our population reads at like an 8th grade level.
And what is the other 2/3 grade at?
That means almost half does not. You're right.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Now here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Today's defensive keys to the game are brought to you by Zaxby's. No matter the result on the field, you're always a winner when you stop at Tallahassee area Zaxby's for the best chicken fingers, signature salad, or chicken sandwich today. Support those who support local businesses and FSU. That's been Zaxby's way of doing business for over 15 years. Defensive keys, okay. This is not a team that does much well. UMass, that is. One of the things they do, because they struggle to protect the quarterback, is try to get the ball out of the kid's hands quickly. It's a weird sort of chuck and duck offense when you watch them. There's a little bit of talent in the backfield at running back. He's probably their best offensive player. When you see their offense, you don't have anything that you can hang your hat on. I would say they will challenge you down the field. They will attempt it. I mean, they're not highly successful. You look at success rates on offense and defense. It's not a lot to write home about. They're really bad. Offensively, if you want to know a number that will jump out at you as I look here at these stats, that they are as bad as you can be, quite literally, on third down. They're last in the country. So that's not an opinion. They're last in the country.
Yeah, I'd say for the defense today, it's just reward the continuity that Ira was talking about at the top of the hour. In the secondary, they found some guys that they like and in certain positions that they feel very confident that they can execute at a high level. This is something that Adam Fuller said in the preseason. We need to carve out roles. I'm done talking about, the cross training and these guys are position flexible.
This is what you do. Yeah.
I need guys to step up and take command of what they're doing. So let's see communication. Like one of the easiest ways that you can see that the chemistry is growing and the continuity is being, it's setting in and taking hold is pre-snap. If there are adjustments that need to be made between a safety and a corner, or the nickelback and Kevin Noles and a safety, you got rotations and movement before the snap. The way they handle those things and they pass things off, that is a good indicator of how comfortable you are playing defense. The one thing that we saw, it wasn't just Jordan Travis, who looked very prepared for everything that he was going to see against North Carolina. That defense looked prepared for what Sam Howell and the Tar Heel offense was going to bring to him. Even at that 10-0 margin, if you think about it, that touchdown pass is a low percentage pass, really good throw, really good catch by Josh Downs.
Back in the end zone, great catch.
Coverage is pretty good. Is it perfect? No. Is there a bit of a bust? Maybe a false step or two? Yes. But you force a much more difficult throw than we were seeing in the first few weeks of the season when there were coverage busts left and right between the hashes. So I want to see that particular part of the game, the communication level.
You're talking about something that's important here because, again, even against bad teams, you can find out whether or not you're coordinated, organized, disciplined, all those things. You can find that out. And sometimes more in these types of games than in other games because you have to be your own motivation. So one of the things that I'm interested about here is that they have found some cohesion in that secondary. Ira mentioned it. You just alluded to it. Do you see it again today? They competed on the football. I mean, this was like the ball was in the air. Guys got their heads around. They were in position. They trusted that they were in position. One of the reasons that defensive backs, especially when they're struggling, won't make a play on the football is they stay in phase and they will not come out because they are scared to death that a guy's going to run by them because they've been burnt so many times before, or they have failed in those moments. And one of the things, you can't make a play on the ball if you're not in position, but getting in position, your great reward is to make the play. Now, the hard work is to flip your hips and get inside the pocket and go.
Right.
And to not let a guy stack you and do those things. When you're in position, now your grand reward, you've done all the hard work. Catch the ball, make a play. And we finally saw it. It happened in that game against North Carolina with the interception. But there were also 3 or 4 balls that were competed for in phase. Guys got their head around and made a play on the ball.
Yeah, the thing, that catch by Jarian Jones, it's a throw to the end zone. It's an ill-advised throw. The other teams are allowed to do that. They are allowed to make poor decisions, and you're allowed to put them in position to make questionable decisions. That's a big play in the 35-7 run.
Huge, yeah.
Because North Carolina's about to answer score for score, and then I think we're off to the races where both teams are scoring in the upper 30s, and it looks like a shootout.
But
alas, that's what happens when you go make a play and change the tenor of the game. Next thing you know, you score a touchdown ourselves, and we're feeling pretty good. But those 50-50 plays are things that we just haven't seen. Go back to the Notre Dame game. You make one 50-50 play. on a Jack Cohn throw, right? Where Travis Jay gets turned around in that situation. That's a desperation third down throw. Even if you bat it down.
Oh, yeah, just make a play. Just don't let the guy catch it. Right.
Look back at that game and how close the margin was.
Oh,
that might be the difference. And we make that play in this situation against North Carolina. Now, again, I get that UMass is no good, but we haven't been able to play well and consistently against air for most of the last 3 or 4 seasons. So go ahead and show that you're capable of handling this challenge. And all that's going to do is increase your confidence as we get on the plane next week to go up to Clemson.
Yeah, and they're struggling to throw the football at all. I know I'm getting ahead of myself. I can't help it with that offense and watching them. They are really play well today, take care of business, continue to gain confidence. You're exactly right, Tom, because one team that isn't in that scenario gaining confidence is Clemson.
Right.
They've struggled with that offense, and the quarterback continues to refuse to run. If he doesn't run today and they struggle in the passing game, Tom, we're going to have giddy shows on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, because there's going to be a belief that it's possible. I'm not there yet.
Wow.
I'm not there yet. But that's going to, you're going to start talking very differently. It'll be interesting.
It's very possible already. I know that you don't want to come around to it.
No. Of course it is possible. I shouldn't word it that way. It's too extreme. I think it's unlikely. But yes, it'll become even more possible. It'll become even more likely. Right. Is a better way of saying it.
Right. Yeah. You're looking for more dysfunction, the 3:30 window. And that's where we get to smile, because could it be? Just allow yourself to dream. That's why this is a fun week, even though it's UMass and there's not a whole lot that you can do breaking down UMass's too deep in order to garner insights about how today is going to go.
No.
You're allowing yourself to believe, okay, we might have bottomed out. Like, we've asked ourselves that question several times as Florida State fans over the last 3-4 seasons. Is this bottom for us? Is this the bottom? Because I remember 2009. That's what I was telling myself. I remember, barely making a bowl in Bobby's final year in the Pro Combat Day where E.J. Manuel saved our bacon and allowed us to play West Virginia in the Gator Bowl. I remember that. Is it going to be worse than that? The answer has been yes and yes and yes. It can get worse. Well, maybe we've bottomed out and we can let the dysfunction cloud hang over somebody else's program for a damn change. That would be nice.
It jumps around. Typically, it does. We know that. And I just think, having to endure that, you're not going to get lower than Jacksonville State. So the answer to your question was whether or not we bottomed out. We did.
Today would be, but yeah.
This is a game that if they were to lose, I'd be done. I don't mean leave the profession. I'd be done with this group. That's how bad this team is. Now, that doesn't mean I think we're going to win 63-0. I don't get caught up in score. People, I mean, yes, sometimes the score
it can't be 27-24, right?
Correct. Yes, you don't have to kick a last-second field goal to beat UMass. That'd be problematic. Agreed. But I'm not worried. Like, if it's 56-21, people are like, 21's too many points. Man, that could have been that you pulled everybody and you've got, third stringers in the fourth quarter. I mean, it could happen. I don't worry about that. Do you play smart? Do you play confident? Do you play well? The score will take care of itself, whatever. I mean, some things you can't really predict, turnover luck, stuff like that. But go play well. But one more time, if they lost to this team, I would be done with that group, all of them.
Enjoy your game day, everybody.
I'm just saying that it's not going to happen. I'm not worried about it. It's not going to happen. If it does, just so you know, we're done. We're done. That's an impossible. You can't. No,
listen. Just leave it surface level. Now you're letting that take roots. You're letting that idea take roots. I just leave it surface level. Cross that bridge if we need to, but I don't think so. That bridge is not on our route.
No,
sir. It is not on our route.
No, we're not going there. We're not. It's it. No. You're right. I got to leave it alone. I will do this. That was the defensive keys to the game. Somehow we got sidetracked to the point where I started talking about firing everybody with a UMass loss.
Fire them. Fire them all.
Well, and the problem is you wouldn't be able to, but you just have to be like, nope.
That bridge is the Sunshine Skyway, my man.
Yeah.
And we're using 95. There is no way we need to be on that side of the state. No, sir.
Those were the defensive keys brought to you by our friends at Zaxby's. Yes, they support all of you on game day with deliciousness. I've got it here next to me. It's good stuff. Support those who support local businesses in FSU. That's been Zaxby's way of doing business for over 15 years. More Tallahassee Game Day in a moment.
Imagine a salad made with only the freshest vegetables, with grilled or hand-breaded chicken, and topped with Southwest Ranch dressing. Big enough to fill you up without weighing you down. Made to order, when you order, in that order. Try our new Southwest salad with fire-roasted corn, tomatoes, and crispy tortilla strips. Just one of our made-to-order salads. Only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards. Scan to pay. Order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
Hi, this is Rowdy Lawson from Lawson & Lawson Electric. Let's talk about your 2021 hurricane preparedness plan. Are you prepared? Do you have a plan for when the power goes out? A Cummins home standby generator is more affordable than you think. At Lawson & Lawson Electric, we can help you with your home and your business. There's no job too big or too small. We stand by every job we do and consider it a privilege to be recognized as the best in Tallahassee. Give us a call at 562-4111 or online at LLelectrical.com.
People trust Sellers for better tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring. Sellers Flooring Advisor Ryan Fitzgerald.
We understand most people don't come in with great knowledge of what they're looking for or what they need. So at Sellers, what we try to do is use our expertise to guide you through the process.
Get Sellers working for you.
We make it easy, and we have the experts on staff to get you where you need to be, and we give you the options.
On Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive. Call 656-8453. Online at sellerstile.com.
Hi, Chris Kraft for the Kraft Brothers dealerships. We've experienced a couple of blockbuster months recently. What does that mean to you? It means we have a whole lot of quality pre-owned vehicles. And just when there are rumors about high prices on pre-owned cars, you guessed it. At Kraft Nissan and Infiniti, we are discounting every single pre-owned car, truck, and SUV on our lot. Instead of Dad dreaming of a new truck or SUV, why not bring him out to the Kraft Brothers lot on Mahan Drive to look at SUVs and trucks? Match what he wants. Kraft Pre-Owned has dozens of Toyotas, some Ford F-150s, and Ram 1500s. And of course, we have a big supply of Infiniti and Nissan vehicles. If we don't have what you're looking for, we will do our level best to find the car you want. Let other dealers charge you too much for pre-owned cars. Kraft Nissan and Infiniti are saying right now is the best time of the year to save on a quality pre-owned vehicle. Kraft Nissan and Infiniti of Tallahassee on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. And remember, if the car you are looking for doesn't have the Kraft tag on it, you'll pay too much, way too much.
Attention! It's enough. This has gone on way too long. If we're going to win this thing, we've got to go big.
Introducing Zaxby's new signature sandwich with a double hand-breaded filet, split top bun, and Zax sauce, our new spicy Zax sauce. Only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
Distributor Triangle Sales.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Now here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Who's hot, who's cold? Brought to you by our friends at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning, a proud supporter of the Jeff Cameron Show and Tallahassee Game Day for many, many years. Our friends Barano Heating and Air Conditioning, BaranoAC.com. Make sure you go check them out. They've been a great supporter for a very, very long time. Who's hot, who's cold? Jordan Travis would be who's hot. He has looked great lately, in particular that North Carolina game. Easy breezy, ran the offense with great confidence, was very assertive. There was even a flash or two, just a couple, but it's progress, of comfort in the pocket, going through progressions, hitting a couple big throws. Some would say easy throws, but when you haven't been able to sit down in that pocket and kind of get acclimated and feel good about it and go through progressions, not without happy feet, that's a big deal to hit that crosser. I talked about it right after that game. I thought it was the biggest throw, and think about it. He made some big throws, and yet that was the one to me where I said, oh, look at that. We look like we had a passing game.
Yeah, the 11 straight completions, the 5 touchdowns. He was among the highest graded quarterbacks across the country, highest rated quarterbacks. However you want to look at it, advanced metrics, the basic metrics. Jordan Travis was efficient as heck in North Carolina. He was hot. And also, I'd say Trayshawn Ward. Trayshawn Ward is among one of the highest graded running backs in college football this season. Yeah. And if Jashawn Corbin is mending some bumps and bruises today, then I would think that Trayshawn Ward is going to lead the pack, at least in the first half, in terms of touches. The way he finished that game, with that run where he breaks 3 and 4 tackles, that signaled everything you needed to know in one play about where Florida State was on that Saturday and where North Carolina was. One cared to be there, the other didn't. Trayshawn Ward always cares to be there. He bet on himself as a walk-on here in Tallahassee. He had offers to programs like Maryland, but he wanted to come here roll the dice closer to home,
worked
and
out
bam, look at it, man. He is somebody who is so much fun to watch.
He is too, and he's very serious about putting in the work, putting in the time, putting in the study. He does all that. He is a committed kid, and you like to see kids like that rewarded. So, it's a hell of a play. That's an extra effort that we'd love to see. That's exciting. So for me, that's a good choice. I do wonder though, Tom, if even though he could be the guy that gets the bulk because they're nursing a Corbin injury, bumps and bruises, he's okay.
Right.
Worried. But I don't know. I would just maybe make this the Lawrence Toafili Festival because I need. I'm going to need Trayshawn Ward to be a star against Clemson.
Toafili Palooza after we get set. Well, yeah.
You get up 21-0 or something, and it becomes Toafili's day.
Right. Well, listen, they loved him in preseason camp, and there were some detail plays that maybe didn't go his way. He's had limited opportunities of late, has Toafili. But, I mean, when we watch camp, practice for practice, 9 was a big part of what they wanted to do. So it's not like he's lost the ability. It's just you're looking for greater consistency. And today's an opportunity to get your name back in the fold for the final 5 games of the year, where you've got 4 critical ACC games, then Florida on the road. You get through the test today. You can earn some reps for yourself today. That would be the message, too, that I deliver to everybody across the board. If you're not already a starter, today is a day where you could earn more snaps. You could earn our trust. Now go out and go get it. And that's for Toafili, DJ Williams, and others in the running backfield and running back room.
Thank you, Eric. Best game day coverage versus that other game day program. Go Noles. Appreciate you. Thanks for your contribution. Thanks for coming out yesterday to the happy hour show as well. It was good to talk to you. Albeit briefly, it was still nice. Always appreciate that. Yeah, man. I'll just again, this is a fun day. We get an opportunity to get excited. For Toafili, by the way, circling back really quickly, 2 things for him. I think that has cost him some playing time. First of all, he's still slight. He's got to get bigger. So he's just not a guy that can really handle a lot of carries, I think, at this stage of his career. 2, he does try to bounce everything, and that is annoying. Ryan, I see you're alluding to it here. You say he needs to follow his blocks. Yes, he will try to bounce a lot because he's always been fast. And when you're fast, you see this with guys, especially guys early in their career, coming out of high school, they bounce everything. They think because in high school they got away with it. They bounced and they outran everybody and scored a lot of points. So they feel like that's what they should do.
And he can outrun people, but still.
It's college. And a lot of times when you do that, there are other guys who are fast as well.
Well, and our scheme, given that we have a deficiency in the offensive line, it's playing better, but that doesn't mean that, we could just road grade everybody. We're not there by any means. The way we draw bangles, if you deviate from where the lead blocker's going, well, we've given up a lot of space because we're trying to create this tunnel by
angles, man. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So if you bounce, you're in real trouble because it's not just one dude who's standing. There might be 2 or 3. So that's the problem. And there were some, little moments there where it got frustrating. But the Syracuse game, I go back to that. It was a key moment, a 3rd down. He releases out into the flat.
Yep.
He's got to catch the ball, look it into his hands, turn upfield, go, and get a 1st down. And he did in a big moment. That set up a shot play for us. Might have been the Ward run for a touchdown against Syracuse. I forget what it was, but it extended that drive. These are the little plays that you build on. These are the ones that we forget. I've come back to it.
They're winning plays, and Norvell talks about this
3rd
a lot.
and 8. 3rd and 8 against North Carolina.
And they just straight up ran the ball.
Right.
And it's a design run. They played to who they wanted to be,
right?
Who their identity was becoming and what they thought they could be, and then they executed it beautifully, and they converted. You're right. These are the little plays that make up the overall bigger picture with a road win. I think it's important to circle those moments. It's like in a baseball game. The guy makes a tough turn on a double play to get you out of an inning, a potential big inning, and maybe it's only the 3rd or 4th inning. When you look back at a 1-run game, those are the plays where you go, yep, it was that turn here, or it was that great catch here, or it was that executed slider away on 3-2 with the bases loaded. It was whatever that was. Florida State didn't make a lot of winning plays, Tom, for a long time.
Right.
They would make dumb plays, losing plays that when we watch bad teams, you identify quickly why they're bad. That was us all the time. The North Carolina game, go all the way back. We've done a lot of that today. Second half Louisville game, carry over, find a way to win. The Syracuse game made a lot of bad plays there to go with the good plays. But when you had to get a stop, got to stop. When you had to execute a drive late, make a field goal, you did it. Okay, so then we were emerging. Then you go to Carolina. You jump off sides on a 4th down. In my head, in the 1st quarter, I'm going, really? We're still not beyond this? We were not emboldened by that win. Are we still this dumb? And then 2nd quarter happens. game turns around, continued momentum, dominate the game, 35-7 run. Beautiful. Still makes me smile thinking about that game because of all the winning plays and the overcoming of a couple of mistakes. And again, it was, I believe, the 4th game out of 5 that Florida State had fewer penalties than their opponent, didn't do anything crazy. And when officials weren't looking to call us for personal fouls by the sideline, we aren't committing them. I mean, it's unbelievable. Yes.
Yeah, things have gotten cleaner, and there's still a lot of motion. We haven't stopped the motion in order to be cleaner with our formations and things like that. Yeah, that's another thing that you can look for today, a sign of maturity, is are you detail sound enough that we don't have illegal men downfield, or we have somebody covered the line of scrimmage, or a bunch of false starts. Keep your head in the game. That's a focus. Pre-snap penalties tell you a lot about focus. And whether usually it's somebody might be flustered because you're playing an opponent and they know that they've got to almost cheat and get fire off the ball perfectly in order to win, like a tackle versus a defensive end type situation. But today's game, it's about, are you focused for the right reasons, which is, listen, the film didn't let you get complacent. It's all about your habits and what you've done during the week.
Jordan Young, over under, catch and a half today.
He's going over. He's, you know what, reading the Warchant practice reports of late, warchant.com. You can go to the tribal council every day when they allow us into practice Tuesdays and Wednesdays of game weeks. Jordan Young's name has come up a little bit more. Today is a day for him. I'm not saying, on the road at Clemson, Jordan Young's going to go for 5, $115, and 2 scores. I'm saying today, come on. If not now, when? Let's go, Jordan Young.
What a day. What a day, Tom, if it happens. The guy you've been touting for 3 years, can he do it? Can he make it happen? Woo! Tom says under. So
that's the safe bet. Yes.
He gets 2 catches today.
I think I get plus 500 on that, but yeah.
I put it at 1.5. I mean,
so we don't list a cold, but we've got another group that's hot. If you don't mind me reading something really quick, it's a cool announcement. Zaxby's has been upgrading Nole fans and local heroes game day experience all season long. And today our friends at Zaxby's are proud to announce that for the remainder of this football season, they'll be giving their pair of 50-yard line seats to local heroes with the Guardian ad litem of the Big Ben.
Yeah,
people near and dear to our heart at the Jeff Cameron Show. Officially known as the Second Judicial Circuit Guardian ad litem program. Our thanks to Zaxby's for their support of those who help local youth in our area. If you'd like to volunteer to help change the life of an undercared for young person in our community, head to gal2.org. That's GAL, the number 2.org. They could really use your help. So thank you to Zaxby's for elevating somebody's Saturdays for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. It's really awesome. And everybody knows, they've listened to this show for a long time, the work that the Guardian ad litem does. Good to remind them, though. And I always love getting paired with them and doing anything we can to help them, because they help kids. They advocate for kids who don't have that, who don't have somebody looking out on their behalf. So that's huge. And we will be forthcoming in the not too distant future, telling you about the exact date for the bowling tournament. We're going to do it again this year.
Yes, we are.
I'm really excited to get back after it. Couldn't do it last year, really, because of COVID. So this is the year we're all, getting back together, reacquainted on the bowling alley, a couple cold beers, and lofty expectations of a 140.
140 is the number we're setting.
Well, typically we throw it somewhere in that general area, and I don't know. I mean, we've both gone well over.
Yeah.
We've also gone well under.
The best number that we see every year for that event is the amount of donations.
Crazy.
And if you talk about it for too long, it gets tough to talk some more.
Can't do it. Can't do it. I can't. I do. Yeah, I mention it, and then I start talking about it, thinking about how cool it is, and then I go, oh, okay, we're done here. Can feel it coming on. It's like when your hammy grabs you. Like, oh, my hammy's got me.
One more rep for me ahead of the postgame show, because I got to do reads for our pals at teampaper.com who support the postgame show. I got to get my work in. Today is my day to get my reps in.
Get it in.
As this is a multifaceted final segment of the program. Today's game predictions are brought to you by Lane's Medical Shop, with locations in Colquitt and Donaldsonville. Lane's Medical Shop offers all your medical supply needs. They even have delivery and emergency services available. Lane's Medical Shop, 229-758-9111. Tell them that the Jeff Cameron Show, Warchant.com, Tallahassee GameDay, all those sent you there, and they will give you all a half off discount, 50% off at Lane's Medical Shop.
Good times. Good times. Prediction, huh? What did we say?
Pain.
I said 58-10. I'm going to kind of stick somewhere in that neighborhood, 56-10, 58-10, 54-10, something like that.
Well, I had 52-10 so just, give me the 52 real estate. Yeah, right. Every even number.
Every number in the 50s to 10. Now, I'll stick with my original pick. I know that's lofty. Ooh, what a lofty expectation. What a goal. 58 points. Woo!
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah. Well, when we kick off at noon, let's see if we still believe it. I was certain that we were going to drop 45, 50 plus against Jacksonville State, and it just didn't happen that way. I think this is a much more gettable game.
I think lesson learned.
I would hope so. And that's where, again, that's the hard juggling act, because I wouldn't blame the coaches for throwing the ball a hell of a lot more if you look at run-pass ratio, because you're trying to keep some people fresh. But also, you just kind of want to do what you do. We've only discovered what we do recently. So since it's a recent discovery, as in 2 weeks ago, maybe we continue that momentum. And that might keep the score down a little bit. If we run the ball a bunch, fewer possessions, you hit into the 40s, but you still feel good about the way the game played out.
Yeah, a lot of times we talk about the spirit of the rule or the law or whatever it is. Yeah, my 58-10 score could be in spirit, Tom. As long as it's lopsided, as long as it's a domination. Dictating terms, fumbles, a couple weird moments, whatever it might be. We decide to run more than I thought and just shorten the game. Yeah, okay. So if all of a sudden that's 37-7, okay, that's the same. It's relatively the same. It's in the spirit of an ass kicking. That's what I'm talking about on homecoming. It's the spirit of an ass kicking.
That's right. All right.
So it should be
percentage chance that we win by 36 points or more.
Very high.
Very high.
Very high. I gave the points. I'm not on the show I did. I feel good.
Okay. All right.
You don't like it? You don't want to do that? 35 and a half.
Well, I don't know.
Right?
See, the problem is when you don't have a ton of depth on this roster and you put the backups in, you might be susceptible to running afoul of the number.
Let's see. Good work out of you, Matthew. Good work out of you, Tom. Thanks to all of you here on the chat and for all of you who listened on 93.3 Real Talk Radio. We really do appreciate it. Thanks to all the sponsors as well, including our friends here at Zaxby's who feed us, which is good times. I feed you too for Tallahassee Game Day. Yeah, for all of us. Tallahassee Game Day. I'm Jeff Cameron. Be well, everybody. Go Noles.
Go get you some